Oh, you are fresh out of Campion, starring up Yui, making films, going to international film festivals, winning competitions, and just being awesome. Tell me about all of them something now.
Alright, so I actually have a sort of a diverse background in the sense that I am actually studying software engineering at the University of the West Indies, right? Right, so most people are like, what? You're a software engineering student, but you're doing documentaries.
Right.
And basically, I just love both, and I found it very hard to choose.
The physical embodiment of STEAM.
Exactly.
STEAM.
So I actually have national awards in computers, well, regional as well for computer science, and then national painting, documentaries, photography, like everything. I just love any expression of art, and it started with me loving to write stories in prep school. I'd write stories and read to my class, and the teachers were like, "This is how you write a story, guys." Like Daniel would come and write exactly. So they absolutely loved it, and I think I've built on it. I know I'm using film to express stories. So what I focus on are cultural documentaries, and I started doing this in lower six. The summer after lower six, I started working with TVJ, and they're the same ones that actually sponsored me to go to the Sundance Film Festival earlier this year.
Wow. So nice.
As well as I won the EU Short Film Competitions Award for Best in Storytelling.
Top
word.
Writer, videographer, filmmaker,
software engineer.
No man. But I also wanted to big you up because you are also in the advocacy space through your report.
Definitely.
And she was a Jamaica Youth Advocacy.
I'm still a Jamaica Youth
Ambassador.
Same thing?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm also now on the Global Youth Tech Council.
I can't manage.
Yes, so I do work in a lot of spaces,
Right.
but ultimately they're all aiding the same goal. So in documentary making, I'm trying to expand our nation's awareness of our rich history and our heritage and where we're coming from. And then through tech, it's kind of like helping us to solve our modern day problems. So everything comes together, even though it may seem like different branches.
So tell us some more about your films, though. We want to know, what's the subjects that you want to go after and that kind of thing.
Sure, definitely. So I've done 2 in climate change. The last one I did was actually on Port Royal, and it's called Protecting Port Royal's Mangroves. That's the one I did for the EU's short film competition. Essentially, there I was exploring the fact that the mangroves are dying, but you would think that it's not directly related to us, but they're actually dying because of the horrible pollution in the Kingston Harbor. So when you are going through by boat, you are literally seeing tires, sofa wash up, people TV set, like literally you would never expect that this is there, but it is directly a result of our practices that we have right here in Kingston and in St. Catherine. So yeah, that's the last one I've done.
That's horrible.
I also did one it's done in Spanish, so everyone may not be able to understand it. But I did it in Bolivia. I was living there for 3 months on a global leadership program last year.
Wait.
Yeah, I did it in Spanish, so it was on
So you talk Spanish too?
Sí, yo puedo hablar en español, sí.
Caramba.
Brain tired.
I know. I normally have to take people in stages and say, yeah, all right, you understand me through here. Yeah. I normally have to, stagger it.
That's a lot.
Alright, so most people don't understand the amount of work that goes into, creating that thing that we watch on TV.
True.
Especially, in your line of work. So as it relates to your documentaries, how many hours and what do you have to do to basically have that product that we look at, especially in post?
That's a great question. So the first thing you have to start with is your treatment, and of course doing research, because documentaries are factual, so you need to base it in actual facts. So you start looking at what is the local research about it. So I read some of the local mangrove papers done by NEPA, done by JET, and I also spoke with representatives to get an idea of, is this actually the issue? Is this actually what I'm looking for? Then I write my questions, kind of looking at how do I want to explore this and how do I want to tell this story to Jamaica. And then after that, we go set up all the interviews. That can take a lot of time, just doing the interviews themselves. But then you come back with about, let's say, 30 or 20-something minutes of footage per interviewee. And you have to go through that now to cut it down to the 1 minute or the 3 minutes that's really going to sell to the Jamaican audience. And that that is what takes the most time.
You know, I feel like we're going to intersperse each question with an amazing thing you've done.
Yeah.
Because I just remember, so Daniel was head girl of
Okay,
Cambian.
college,
Indeed.
It makes sense.
That's where I did my first documentary, actually. So my first documentary was on my experience being head girl, because I realized that, one, I thought the student body needed a little bit of inspiration at the time.
Right.
And two, I wanted them to see that it's a journey to becoming head girl. You're not just like perfect, some people think, overnight.
Right.
Like, I went through some of the same insecurities, some of the same doubting yourself over
Right.
the 7 years. And I wanted to communicate to them that you can do it too. It may not manifest as head girl, but you can reach some end goal that you have as well.
What? Daniel, yeah, it's just. But I think generally speaking as well, Daniel, in film, what role does music play in film?
So music, alright, so at the Sundance Film Festival, there's
Right.
one film that I watched called Sylvie's Love. And I remember persons were saying after, the music itself was like another character in the show. Like,
Wow.
that's how deeply
Impactful.
aligned exactly it can be. So when you're thinking of how do you want to tell this story, what emotions do you want to evoke from your audience, your music becomes paramount. Like, literally, they always say to us, your film can be a little bit low quality, but you see, if your audio is low
Yes,
quality
man.
and persons
Preach,
can't hear what
preach,
you're saying,
preach.
it's a whole other story. So your music has to be good, your audio from the interviewees has to be good,
Absolutely.
and everything has to come together.
Alrighty. So, do you agree that historic Jamaican films like The Harder They Come or Dancehall Queen or, you know, recent ones like Yardie, you know, well, filmed in Jamaica, have been an avenue for bringing Jamaican music to international audiences?
Absolutely. Like, I think film is one of those mediums that everyone can appreciate, especially when you tie it with the right music and the right sound. So even being at Sundance this year,
Right.
there were persons still saying, oh, you're from Jamaica? The harder they come.
Yeah.
Like, immediately. And it has
Connectivity.
been, exactly, so many years later, and people are still linking this this movie to
Right.
Jamaica. And they're also mentioning the movie Cool Runnings that was about the
Yes.
Jamaican bobsled
The
team.
team.
And that one made it to Sundance as well a few years back.
Yeah, man, when you look at recently Toast by
Yes.
Coffee in Us by Jordan
Exactly.
Peele, like,
Yes.
it's still happening, you know?
Exactly.
So how do you go about choosing your music for your films and documentaries?
So it actually, that's almost one of the first things I do when editing, actually. I have to find the right soundtrack for the movie. So this actually will take me like days. I'll be sitting down listening to
The
different
sounds.
background instrumentals to say which one ties into it. And I almost can't start editing until I get the right, like I feel it when I get the right song. So it does take me time.
I know all of us rather, you being one of the more recent ones to leave high school. And you know, you just made that connection a while ago that, you know, your first documentary was while you were campaigning experience as a head student.
Yes.
But are students exposed to the creative industries, and are they being supported through the curriculum to pursue creative industries?
There's always more that can be done. Like, I don't think we'll ever reach a perfect synergy between the arts and STEM, because I think as a society we view STEM as a more, a more
Logical, left brain.
exactly, a more valuable skill, STEM being science, technology, engineering, mathematics, etc. I think as a society we view this as a more valuable skill, and it is extremely valuable. I am a STEM student and I am an art
Exactly,
student.
you married them actually.
Exactly. So I think there's some programs, like for example, as I said, when I was in high school, Television Jamaica had a program called High Schools TV, and that's how I would have first started. I did really well there, and then they brought me back in summer, brought me back the summers after, etc. So programs like that directly stop and say to our youth, hey, this is an avenue you can explore. If you would like to, come and see what it's about. So I think programs like that are definitely needed, but I think they're also needed in STEM as well. There are more of them in STEM.
Right.
However, they're needed in both fields to kind of make it more even.
This is the point in time where you big up Talk Up Youth. Talk Up Youth, Miss Effie.
Talk up
Youth!
Right.
I think it's very important that you mentioned that point that we're still developing, but I've also seen even a bit of changes in the curriculum, because for example at CAPE and CSET there's now more an emphasis on performing arts as well as a subject,
That
or
is
even
true.
digital media and film at the CAPE level. So thanks for that point. Daniel, just in wrapping up though, what has your experience been with reggae internationally apart from just the Sundance Film Festival?
All right, great question. So, as I said before, when I spent 3 months in Peru and Bolivia, I remember waking up one morning in Cusco and I was just walking through the streets. Right?
Like Cusco.
Cusco is the capital of Peru, right?
Like Cusco.
So I was walking through and there was this little guy, he's like selling jewelry, etc. And he's just playing music on his phone and he's playing Bob Marley. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm in the middle of a Spanish-speaking country. And he's starting to look at me now because I have the locks, right? So I'm like, yeah.
That's why I'm starting.
Exactly. I also went though into an internet cafe, and again they were playing Bob Marley music. So again I was talking to the guy and I was like, "See, es de mi país, it's from my country, it's from my country." And then from that the guy then invited me to a reggae event later in the evening, but I couldn't go because like curfew and thing. It's all right though. And even again another day we're in Copacabana in Bolivia, which is kind of a tourist town-ish,
Right.
but every single day they were playing Bob Marley at the hotel. And I could, like, all day, every day, it's Bob Marley being played, and this is a Spanish-speaking country. So when we say that, I don't even think as Jamaicans we fully understand the impact of Bob Marley because we haven't explored or we haven't gone all over the world yet to see. And there's some persons there that were saying to me, Bob Marley helped me through a difficult time in my life. Bob Marley helped me through depression. Bob Marley helped me through this, that.
Right.
It's impacting so many persons across the world. And when you go to the Bob Marley Museum and you do the tour, and you really think to yourself that he was in his 30s when he died and passed on, and he was able to have that kind of reach and impact within 30-something years, that is incredible.
It's amazing, and you are on your way to them, the kind of legacy.
Thank you.
Pick up yourself. We have to take a break. When we come back, we still have more on the Talk Up Radio show. Talk Up, people, Sefi.
Talk up.